Hey, welcome back to Concerning Middle Earth. I'm Neo,
And I'm Kristina.
and this is a podcast where we're going to talk about Middle Earth, all things. It's episode 4
Okay.
of The Rings of Power now, and I thought a lot happened in this episode,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, let's talk about it, because it start. Yeah, do you remember any of this episode now?
I never remember which episode is which, so you
Okay,
can lead the way.
this episode starts with Queen, what's it, Muriel? I think that's her name, Queen Regent of Numenor. She's having a vision
Is
of
her name Muriel?
yes.
Okay.
She has a
Oh,
vision
right.
of the
Yeah.
destruction
Of
by a
Numenor.
giant wave, which
Yeah.
is the title of the episode, the wave.
Oh, not
Not the
destruction by a giant.
wave, the wave.
Yeah.
Uh, yes. Which
Oh, that was a brutal dream.
I think it was. I
She's
think it
holding
called it
the
pretty quick.
baby and just, yeah.
Oh, I
that
know.
was pretty bad.
Because before it aired, I saw a picture of her holding a baby. I'm like, what is this? And then we watched the episode. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just
That was pretty brutal.
also, I wondered about that. Could a giant wave just knock over giant stone structures like that?
You do realize how heavy water is, right?
Have you seen the lighthouse that gets crashed by big waves? I guess it depends on how
No, but-
powerful it is. I don't know.
But water is heavy. Pretty powerful.
No. Anyway.
I mean, people get if you go too deep in the ocean, you get crushed.
Okay. Well,
Anyway,
whatever.
Yes, I think
That
that you could.
It was yeah. Called it pretty quick. It was like something's
Yeah.
wrong here. This is not. This is a weird opening. But
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with with the future of Numenor, what's going to happen to it. So
I
it's
want to know
not
when
just
that's
a.
actually going to
It's
happen.
not just a fake out for the sake of
So
faking you out.
this is the episode where she shows Galadriel the thing, right?
The
Yeah.
I will say it wrong. The Palantir.
Palantir.
Palantir. Yes. Which I was so excited
Yeah.
when I saw that.
Oh, I'm wondering when they're gonna actually. Are they gonna show the destruction of Numenor? They have to.
I'm
I
sure.
hope they do.
You know,
I mean,
last
eventually,
last
'cause
time
that's what happens.
I was like, oh, there's not that much information really about Numenor and in the
Yeah.
books and all that. I go, no, actually, the more research I do, the more there is. And I'm not an expert. I just, there's a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And I keep doing my research, and I learn lots of new things. I had a note about. Oh well, considering they've got 5 seasons planned out,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Did I even talk about this last time? I don't remember about the whole thing about Sauron becomes Sauron gets captured, but it seems like it's on purpose,
Right.
and he gets taken to Numenor where he kind of poisons them, with
Yeah.
ideas and stuff, and then
Oh,
he escapes
so-
in the destruction of Numenor.
So this makes so much sense because in her visions, it's always Galadriel that's starting the destruction of Numenor, so she blames Galadriel. But she, towards the end of the episode, decides to align herself with the elves, and that makes sense because Sauron comes back and disguises himself as an elf,
Right?
and then he leads to the destruction of Numenor. Okay.
Sure.
Yep. I
Yes.
see where that's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think it's later on in the episode. But there's a lot to do with the petals
tree.
of the white tree,
Yep.
which, if you know any of the history of the white tree, I believe Elendil takes a seed from that tree, and it becomes the white tree of Gondor.
I was
He
wondering about
rescues
that. Yeah.
that. So that's
Okay.
that's why there's. I mean,
Yeah.
because Gondor comes from Numenor. That's
didn't
why
know
there's
that.
so many ties to that.
I was wondering. I was like, oh, that looks like the tree of Gondor. I don't know any of this. So.
Yes, and the petals falling, and
Yeah.
so the one of the great things the show I think is doing, because I was watching Lord of the Rings clips last night in bed, from Return of the King,
You nerd.
is it fleshes that out there. It
Yeah, it
makes
does.
it just will tie. It brings everything together. It puts it, but it gives you more insight when you're watching Return of the King, where Gandalf talks about he's like Sauron is still afraid that
Right.
the heir of Numenor lives, which is Aragorn, and
You said air of Numenor, and I was thinking like the air that you breathe, and I was like,
the heir, the
I was just gonna go with
yeah,
it. Like the essence of Numenor, and then
hmm
yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
and then there's
Right, because
because he is a descendant of Elendil.
yes, and Elendil was the king of Numenor, or he's
Elendil, the dude who's
created the
hanging out with
library.
Gladriel right now in the show.
Elendil.
He's
Oh.
Elendil, and his son is Isildur.
Okay, okay, wait a minute. So, Elrond's brother,
Yes, Elros.
Elros, didn't they say that he was on Numenor?
I believe he helped found
He
the
founded the
the
library
library of Numenor.
because Elros is an ancestor of Aragorn.
Yeah, everything's connected.
How does that work? So does that mean Elendil is a descendant of Elros?
I have to do
He
my
has to be.
research.
I mean,
I don't know exactly.
he has to be.
Somehow.
Either that or whoever his wife is. Because Isildur is a descendant because that's the line.
Yeah.
Goes from Elros to whatever Isildur to Aragorn.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the family tree. uh,
Becomes a family circle.
and the other one, well, because yeah, Aragorn's like battle cry is Elendil.
Oh,
So when he takes the Palantir and in Return of the King, and he shows the sword, and
yeah.
he shows the sword of Elendil
Okay.
as like a threat,
Yeah.
which is because it cut the ring off and all that.
Yeah.
I'm just jumping all over the place because we see the sword in the background.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't. Did you catch that?
Yes, I did.
I was just like,
It's the sword.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
a slightly different design, but
yeah.
it's very, very similar. And
Well,
I thought that
yeah.
I was like, ooh, when's that gonna like? When are they gonna pull that out?
Yeah.
So, oh, I would think maybe. Well, I don't know. We'll see
We'll
what
see.
happens.
Yep.
Anyways, it go that's all a very short scene at the beginning.
Yeah. I want to
I
know
think,
who
right?
Adair
Jeez, I don't
is.
know. I have a lot of notes.
I can never say it right. Adon,
Who?
Adair, whatever, the father of the orcs.
Adar.
Adar.
Yes.
Adar.
There was a couple other like lines that were very similar, like Galadriel I think when she's trying to talk to Muriel, telling her, trying to get her help,
Oh yeah.
and she's all like, actually I don't remember what she had a whole speech, but she said scattered and leaderless.
Yeah.
I'm like, where have I heard that line from Elrond? Elrond.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about the men uniting the world of men and all that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I know there was some other lines or something. But it has to be intentional.
I'm sure.
So
I mean, you want to tie it all in.
the creator of the show, he said, the return of Sauron may be unexpected.
Oh.
Like some people might find it unexpected, which
Okay.
it leaves a lot more wiggle room to like.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of this people are debating.
People are debating who it's going to be.
Is it the stranger or is it? I don't think it's Adar. I mean I did think he was Sauron when they first showed him. Which
Okay, this sounds silly, but he's too ugly. And Sauron's supposed to be like really appealing, isn't he?
No, Sauron is a what's it called?
Oh.
A magic person.
A magic person. Yeah.
Sorcerer.
Yes.
He puts on he can put on disguise like a shapeshifter.
Excuse me?
It could be him, but the internet seems to think that he's just a dark elf, who's
That reminds me of like Zelda or something.
who has stuff there, and then it's way beyond my pay grade to what they're talking about, like where they're getting these
Beyond your
characters that
comprehension.
it might
Yeah.
be this character. I don't think
I
there's
still
any.
like the theory that the stranger is the guy who runs the moon.
Yeah.
It's just kind of random. I doubt it. I'm sure it's somebody connected to uh Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I liked all of it. He's
Yeah.
very. He definitely has a good creepy look. Like he's just a dark elf or whatever.
The crying over the orc.
Yes, and he
Well,
was all burned on like one side of
yeah,
his face, which
very
is
interesting.
like, okay, well, that's there's something there,
Yeah.
story wise.
Something that I'm not
I
gonna
don't
say
know.
Beauty and the Beast.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, I think he's really interesting. I so you said when he was putting down the orc or
yeah,
whatever, when he was killing the orc because they couldn't save it, and he was crying, and you were like, "Oh, don't humanize the bad guy." I was like, I think it just made him look crazier.
yeah.
Like it didn't really it it didn't humanize him. It just kind of made him look more
It,
evil,
more twisted,
more
like
twisted. Yeah,
yes,
I don't know. Just like this guy's crying it over an
like
orc.
I thought the orcs were just completely like disposable,
Yeah,
like
it's
that
his
you would care.
baby. No, so I thought that was interesting because it was like it's almost like like in when you know that the person's evil and they're displaying an emotion, but it's not an appropriate emotion
Hey,
for
Gimli.
the situation.
Gimli offered to ease an orc's passing.
Yeah, that was different because Gimli's not a weird dark elf, possibly
Anyway.
Sauron. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It was just very interesting
Hmm.
scene, interesting emoting because he didn't seem sad. I think that's what it was. He didn't seem sad, but he was crying.
Yes.
So it was really jarring. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if
Well,
that's him.
you
And
could I was gonna say the end of the episode
uh
too. Uh, Theo and the butcher dude who
oh,
that's
I
I
think
can't
it's
remember his
Butcher. Yeah.
name. But that's where Theo got it out of his
Basement.
barn.
Yeah.
Um, they have a
So
little.
he's loyal to.
They have an interaction. He's like, you must have seen the sky, the star fall or whatever.
Right.
He's like, it's a sign and all this stuff.
Yeah. They
So
see.
they have to be ready. That just puts more fuel on the fire of
Right.
who
Who's the
is
stranger? But I don't know. I guess I don't trust shows when they're trying to make it really obvious because usually they're trying to mislead you.
right.
You
Because
know.
all the
And
orcs
like,
call at our father.
yeah. But I mean, didn't they kind of call Saruman father?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But uh, the hobbits also had the prediction or whatever. Like the skies are being weird. You know,
Right.
like
They're
that.
watching the sky
I
too.
don't. What is his name?
Sadok?
Sadok.
Yes. In his book
I
of
can never remember his name.
things.
Yeah, his book of things. He was like, oh, the
Book of
skies
things.
are weird. The wolves
Records.
came. The hunters came. Blah blah blah. Like something's gonna happen. So they kind of had that prediction as well, which almost leads me to believe it's not like just.
Yeah.
You can't like take that and say, oh, it's definitely Sauron
No. I'm sure,
because no, I want it to be Tom Brandy, Tom
Tom
Bombadil.
Tom Brandy book?
But Tom Bombadil has like been there forever.
No.
I
You
want
know
I
what?
want somebody to actually have Tom Bombadil.
That considering they're probably
Somebody
going
should
to be
just make a movie about Tom Bombadil.
considering they're probably going to be pulling up all kinds of, you know, uh
Lore.
uh forgotten characters and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled up Tom Bombadil. That'd be great.
I would love it. And
I don't know how it would work.
Goldberry.
It could, well,
let's do that for
possibly with the
Halloween.
hobbits or the
Yeah,
Harfoots traveling.
I would freaking love that. That'd be amazing.
It'd be, oh my gosh, yeah.
I have wanted them to do Tom Bombadil and Goldberry forever.
Mm.
But everybody's like, oh, Tom Bombadil's just unhinged and
I want to see all the
randomly singing
yes.
all the time. I'm like, I don't care.
Do a
I
bit.
love him.
Yeah, they could do a sort of the scene from the Fellowship with the four hobbits, but instead it's the Harfoots going through the old forest,
Yeah. Do
on their
that, why
way
not?
to finding the Shire.
Be great.
Anyways, that would be cool.
Hey, Amazon Prime. Got an
Oh,
idea for you.
I'm 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 very pleased with how much research they're doing. That
Yeah.
they weren't they didn't just take it and were like, oh, it's Lord of the Rings. We'll do this.
Let's
But
make it Game of Thrones.
they've done deep research. They've used they had like six Tolkien scholars,
Yeah. See,
experts helping them.
every
So
time somebody complains they don't like it because it's not like Lord of the Rings, I'm like, have you actually looked into what they've done? Have
they've
you read the books?
they've
Have you
done
read
the
the
research.
appendices? Have you, like, the Tolkien estate approves.
Yes.
I don't know. And I think it's really interesting. I have a lot of friends who don't like Lord of the Rings because there's no diversity in it, and they love this show, which I think is great. It's like it's a good introduction into like the world of Tolkien because a lot of people wouldn't even watch Lord of the Rings because there's it's literally just all white, which I think it's a good thing to expand the world and obviously diversity is
Yes.
good. But I just like the fact that they took the opportunity to expand the universe in a way that's more like it's drawing new people in.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me happy. It makes me happy to see people who are always like, oh, I've never even watched Lord of the Rings, and now they're like, oh, this show's great. Yes. Be a nerd with me.
Yes.
I like that meme where it's like, what was it? Me watching Lord of the Rings, not caring about what the critics and the fans say because it's a new Lord of the Rings show, and I'm watching a new Lord of the Rings show, and it's just a picture of what's his face, who's Shia LaBeouf
Oh.
being happy. Which I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that meme.
I don't know. I really like it, and I get really annoyed when people say that it's like not faithful to the text because it is.
Yes.
I mean, they're making up new storylines, yes, but did they do that with Lord of the Rings?
They're following
But they're making new storylines that work
within
like
the history.
within the history
line,
of
the historical.
of
Yeah.
they're making new storylines that still work within the context of
Yes.
their research. Because really like the Lord of the Rings guy on TikTok, I don't remember his username, but
Oh.
what he said was that if you were to follow the appendices to the letter, it would be kind of boring. Because like there's not much to work with. So far as the storyline, a lot of it's kind of boring. So from a marketing perspective, that would not be a good show.
No.
Nobody would like it if it actually followed it to the letter, except for maybe really hardcore nerds.
And even when
But,
we've
yeah.
talked about like they should make a show of the Silmarillion,
Oh, you
back,
have to
like,
do so much though. It's so boring.
7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like, well,
It's really-
yeah.
it's
Even
dense,
then, it was
man.
like you'd have to do you'd have to cut a lot. You'd have to do time jumps or something,
Yeah.
which
It's
is sort
dense.
of
It's real dense. It's like it's literally like reading a history book. Nobody wants to watch that. I mean, maybe, but
not
you
even
know-
like a history book. It's so
sorry.
it gets so bogged down in
Yeah.
the names of
Yeah.
people and their
It's like reading the passages in the Bible where it's like this guy was the son of this guy, who's the son of this guy, who's the son of this. Like,
Yes.
who actually reads all those names? Not me.
I saw an article. I didn't read it. I like to just read the titles for
Yeah.
articles, which was somebody on the internet was saying that their claim was that they think Amazon just made this show to show people that they're racist, that people are racist, not that the show is.
What?
Like, no, I don't think that's why they made the show.
The reactions to having people of color on a show, in fantasy especially, is so, like, it blows my mind that people could be that racist and be that upset over. It's fantasy. Literally anything could happen. It's fantasy.
Is Game of Thrones getting this much hate?
No.
Or House of the Dragon? Are they
No.
being diverse?
They have a One black character in the new show that I can think of, maybe
Uh,
like a black family, because they're I don't know that much about Game
yeah.
of Thrones.
No. Neither.
I don't think of Game of Thrones as being very diverse, but I don't really
Mm-mm.
remember that much about it.
Lord of the Rings is family friendly and more fantastical
And they have a better
And-
storyline
and more positive.
and more positive. Yeah,
I saw an
It's-
article.
I feel like Game of Thrones relies a lot on shock value to make
Well,
their
yes,
story up.
Exactly.
It's just like there's not actual storyline.
They literally had articles like, go behind the scenes of the big brothel scene from the last episode. I go, oh, that's nice. So yeah, it's not family friendly. If that's the big thing, where
That's
it's like the
your
articles
main point of
where
the show.
where the articles about Lord of the Rings are like,
Yeah.
who is this character, and learn the history of that. Like who this could possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like Game of Thrones has a lot of storyline. But whatever. I'm biased because
So.
I like Lord of the Rings better. So
Yes.
yeah.
Let's talk about Theo and his friend going on a food run.
His
to town.
friend. I hate his friend so much. Yeah, but Theo. That was intense.
I like that scene.
So, and his friend did exactly what I expected him to do. But yeah, that was intense, and that was a moment. So, because when he goes into the like the tavern or whatever to find more food, I'm like,
Yes.
this is exactly what you do not do because this is where you get murdered.
Right.
But I saw this comment like, people within stories don't know the story tropes, right?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna know this is how you get murdered unless you were doing that today. But still, it's just like, no, don't do this. Why are you going in? And then when he uses the sword and like stabs himself with it to make it grow,
Yeah.
brutal. Is that how it's always gonna be? Like you can't make it into a sword unless you feed it.
Maybe just for humans.
Can you
for
stab it
people.
into somebody else?
Like a dead body?
Yeah, like just carry a severed hand around. Okay,
maybe the
not.
longer he carries it, eventually he will be able to just like summon it. That guy,
Maybe.
the old guy, also was like, it's like a magical thing. It's not a sword or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
He had some comment about it, which is
Well, and he had the scars.
yeah, he had the scar too.
So
from
how
using
often
it.
did he use it?
What did he use it for?
Yeah, and how did he get it?
I
that's
think he's
the
a
biggest-
sympathizer of.
And if the orcs are looking for it, that means it's really important. So how did he get it? If it's that important, that's
How did
what I
it get
wanna know.
lost?
Who was he? Like, how was he so loyal, or did he steal it, or like, what is his backstory, other than being a jerk?
I hope. Well, I'm sure we'll find out. He's.
Don't
Yeah, I
like
didn't
him.
like him from the second day he came on screen in
Nope.
like the first episode.
I think my favorite part was when, he told her like, we're not going anywhere, and then she brings the orc and it's just like, we're leaving
Slam
at dawn. Like, yeah, you tell him. That's funny.
Yes. Yeah. So
But yeah,
he gets attacked by the orc, and then
Yeah.
very quickly thinking jumped in that well to hide.
Oh yeah, that was
Which when he comes out of that well and it's that long shot, I timed it. That shot is 1:46 without a cut.
Wow.
And it makes it pretty intense.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The amount of times that it was like the perfectly timed falling into the grass and then they don't see him, or like,
Right.
all the perfectly timed sorry, getting out of the way so that he wasn't seen. It was so
Yes.
intense.
Wonder how many times they had to run that scene
Oh, I know.
to get
To
it
get like
Oh.
the perfect timing.
down in just right down in there in town
Was
with
it-
orcs running around.
Was
out,
it
in and out of
this
buildings.
episode where you can see the hole in the orc's leg? Like the
Yeah.
skin that they have on,
No,
or
oh,
whatever it
was
is.
this or was the episode before?
I think it was the episode before. You can see there's an orc where he bends his leg and like it's supposed to be his skin, but it like wrinkles in a way that it's not supposed to. Anyway.
Costume. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
really looking, it kind of maybe looks like there's a hole in his costume.
Yeah.
But again, it's like you only notice that if you watch it a couple of times. Oh yes, that scene was
that
great.
was great. Oh, and they're running through the forest.
Yes, and it's
So
like
good.
just a pack of orcs
Yeah.
chasing you through a dark forest is like a nightmare.
Yeah, be real
Yes.
freaky. So, who has better aim, orcs or stormtroopers?
Mm,
Probably orcs. But that just makes me laugh because every scene with orcs, it's always like, oh, they're shooting and missing and shooting and missing. But
yes.
yeah, they. I
Yeah.
mean, what was it that somebody said? Basically, Sauron is he's creating an army of masses, but they don't really have a lot of training,
Right.
so that's why it's easier to overcome them because the people who go against the orcs are usually military trained, like they have all the training and the experience, whereas orcs are just babies, basically.
Right.
Um, and then and they run out.
It's like a SWAT team against an angry mob.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yes, it was. He friggin' catches that arrow
Yeah.
and turns it back,
Oh,
which is a very.
Reindeer is so cool.
They're doing a
Oh.
good job of making the elves pretty cool when they start
Oh,
fighting.
for sure. Yeah.
Which I love.
I think that Arondir is a character I would have wanted to be when I was when I was a teenager.
Yeah, he's quickly becoming like a favorite character
Yeah,
for the show.
I love him.
So they better not kill him.
I'll be mad if they do. Also, I need them to finally kiss.
Yeah. You know,
At the
drag it out for the season.
I'm so impatient. I like that pairing a lot. I like her and I
Um,
like Arondir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see. Well, we've seen
also,
Galadriel fight a little bit.
That's
but that
super
was a giant
interesting. Sorry,
snow
it's super
troll.
interesting to think about. So Arondir's like, good or whatever, and but then her son has the thing and is like, is he gonna turn bad?
Right.
I mean, I feel like it'd be a surprise if he doesn't turn bad.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be
Or
very
yeah.
interesting. And like, then is she gonna side with Sauron?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe
But
it's try to save him before he
Right.
Turns fully.
is she gonna die? That would be my prediction. Is that eventually she dies because she's trying to save her son?
Yes.
That would make sense to me, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Or maybe at some point Arondir is trying to save her and he can't, but it's just out of his hands and that makes Theo really turn bad.
Oh
Take
yeah.
a dark turn. Anyways, that's just theories. Real quickly, we should talk about the dwarves.
I love the dwarves. They're my favorite.
Elrond's visiting again.
Yeah.
Because
I called it. I knew what's happening. Sorry, anyway.
we know what's happening.
No, but you said you didn't know it was in the box when they looked in it.
Oh,
And I was
yeah,
like,
I
oh,
did not
I know
think
what
it
that
was
is. I did.
Mithril, which was great. They revealed that they're
mining
they're,
from
They're
Mithril.
mining they've
Well-
discovered Mithril in there.
Durin is mining against his father's wishes because the caves are dangerous, and they're mining where the Balrog will
They've
be.
woken something up because they've had little earthquakes and tremors in there.
Something. We know what that is.
And they also make a reference to Miramir, the lake.
Oh.
That's where it's by the east gate of Moria, Khazad-dûm, which is where the Balrog seems
Yeah.
to be. Which I just like because it's something that is referenced in the book. And
Who's buried that they find when they go into Moria?
Balin's tomb.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Part of the company that went in The Hobbit.
And they're trying to hide it from Elrond, and he's like way across the thing.
Yes, reading their lips.
No, can't elves just hear really well?
They make it look like he's reading. No. He might be just hearing them actually.
Yeah, because they can hear really well. Yeah, I like it. I just like every interaction with Elrond and Durin.
Yeah, they have
It's great.
great little back and forth,
have good
comical
chemistry.
back and forth at one point, and Durin is gonna go with Elrond to Lindon,
Yeah.
which Durin and his father have a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Which his beard is awesome. I like that the
Yeah.
dwarves have some crazy beards
Yeah.
in the show.
It's pretty great. I'm curious if we ever actually get to see Durin's children. Because so far they've just always been like in the background or their heads
Oh,
covered or
yeah,
whatever.
I was gonna say that. I was like, I hope they never do that. You only ever hear them off screen or whatever. Like,
Why?
I don't want to see dwarf children.
You don't want to see if they have little miniature beards?
It ends with Muriel asking for volunteers to go to protect her because she is going
Oh,
to
yeah.
sail too. She
Yeah.
wouldn't do anything. She wouldn't ask them to do
Oh,
anything that
well,
she wouldn't do.
okay, but first, she's going to send Galadriel away, and the tree weeps.
Yes.
Well, it lets, yeah. And they say that's the tears of the Valar because she's doing something that displeases them.
Yeah, which is visually very
Visually
cool. All
great,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, they have the kind of the classic like we need volunteers and wait for one person to volunteer.
I'll take the ring to Mordor.
Yes, exactly. until
maybe
until the whole crowd is
yeah.
cheering that
Like,
they're gonna go,
woohoo!
and then they're a
You
couple
know-
weeks into it, they're gonna start complaining.
I did not expect that Isildur wouldn't be the first volunteer. It was
Oh.
his friends who volunteered first.
But see, I think the show keeps doing that. They keep doing things that are like tropes, but then
Yeah.
just turning it just enough.
Just enough to where it's not a
where
trope.
you go,
Yeah,
oh, I
Yeah.
didn't expect that.
I like it.
Yes. So that was the end of the episode. Episode 5's coming up. No last thoughts, I don't think.
I don't have any thoughts at all.
Great. Then you can, again, it's a podcast. It's a video podcast on YouTube. You know where to find it. Suko
Call
Films.
it a video cast?
A video cat? I don't know what they call it.
They don't.
They don't have a name
It's
for it.
just being dumb.
It's not a blog. It's a vlog.
Well, yeah.
That makes sense.
Duh,
But
it's a
whatever.
video blog.
It's all dumb.
If you want to
internet's
find
dumb.
me on the internet, I am with Love Kristina on YouTube, and all of my socials are linked on my channel. So,
Till next time. Road goes ever. All right.